Hi, everyone. Let's take a little art break together, shall we? I have found that experiencing art or life through my senses is a mindfulness practice that brings both joy and healing. And I thought it might be nice to share some of that with you all today. Starting with a painting that I recently admired at the Whitney Museum here in New York City, The Seasons by Lee Krasner. The Seasons is not merely a piece of art. It is a statement, a triumphant declaration of life and art. Lee Krasner created it in 1957, about a year after the devastating death of her husband Jackson Pollock. The world wondered whether she could continue creating, whether the grief would consume her talent. What The Seasons shows is more than survival. It shows Lee's return to herself as an artist. It is a masterpiece that speaks of both grief and life, the intense connection between life and death, and the energy that fuels creativity. This piece measures about 92 by 203 inches. It's large, bold, and unapologetic in its presence. You can see the weight of Lee's emotions in every brush stroke. There is life in the paint, layers of color, energy, and texture that almost seem to pulsate. You can imagine the act of creation, the energy of working through pain, finding release through her creative expression. You see it in the tumultuous undercurrents of loss, but also the sensual vitality of new life. There is an eroticism in the movement, the organic curves, the sweeps of color, the drips of paint. Almost as if each brush stroke embodies not only grief, but also the powerful physical nature of sex, of pleasure, of reclaiming one's body and life after loss. Krasner's return was not just an artistic one, it was a sensual, physical one. In the aftermath of Pollock's death, she needed to reclaim her identity as an artist, to emerge from the shadow of grief, and her work in The Seasons reflects the body's return to life after trauma. It's sensual because it's alive. It's filled with movement, rhythm, and color that mirrors the body's deepest sensations. Now, let's reflect on your experience with The Seasons. Imagine yourself standing before it. The textures of the paint are rough, thick, and energetic. You might trace the lines with your eyes, but imagine tracing them with your fingers, or even your tongue. What might the texture feel like? Are there areas that seem more inviting to touch? The bold sweeps of paint, the outlines, the canvas, do they feel different depending on where they land? If you could smell this painting, what would that be like? What kind of scent might arise from the layers of vibrant paint or the energy it holds? Perhaps there's an earthiness, something like soil after rain, or maybe something fresher, a floral scent. Imagine the layers of color and movement releasing an aroma, a blend of energy, sweat, and creativity. Now focus on the colors. Do they draw you in? Is there one area of the painting that speaks more to you than others? What part of the painting feels most satisfying to your eyes, more stimulating? Is there a part of the piece that seems to move more than others, almost as if it were breathing, pulsing with the vitality of life? And what if this painting were set to song? What might that sound like? Would there be swelling strings? Would it be more cinematic? Or would it be something bolder and more layered? And what about taste? If you were to take a moment to taste the essence of this piece, what would that be like? Would you imagine it being something sweet like honey? Smooth, luxurious, indulgent? Or perhaps something more intense, bitter and sharp, like the tang of citrus? This is a piece that touches all of the senses: sight, touch, smell, and taste. Krasner's creation is not just something to see, it's something to feel and experience in the body. Let's go ahead and reflect on your own moments of grief, of rebirth, of sensuality, of finding yourself again after loss. What senses did you rely on then? Can you draw parallels between Lee's journey and your own?